With Rehan, Allahwala, who is all right. I'm gonna go live. He's not responding. I'm doing a simul cast here. I'm on YouTube casting, and let's see here. Let's go to da da da. Let's go. All right, live cast. Let me invite someone. I'm setting this up as I tag. Sorry about this. There's no one on watching anyway, so my voice to text was going. Oh, it's too funny. All right, I'm gonna delete this. So I'm gonna be talking with Rehan, who is like the king of social media in Pakistan, about blockchain and about Found Fest. Blockchain Pakistan, Found Fest 2019. What the heck? Blockchain Pakistan, Found Fest. Period. I love how Google Voice doesn't connect blockchain. Pakistan found a fest. Found a fast. Found up. It's been raining. Raining nonstop here in Japan. Um, 19. Okay. Let's see. How do I invite? I can invite someone. Add, turn off, story. I don't know what unstored means. I don't know what that means. I don't know. All right. You know, they've added a lot of things, and somehow I'm supposed to be able to add Rehan. Let me close my closet. I like a closet here. So I'm waiting for Rehan. Rehan is this amazing guy that we met. We had met prior to the concert, but we rearranged to meet at the conference. That I'm trying to remember what the conference was on. I remember there was a coffee vendor there. I remember the details, the everything about the conference, but I can't remember what the conference about. And one of the best pictures I ever took was with him, and I was wearing my suit and everything, and Rehan is a do, right? There's a do. There's an un, there's a Tao, and there's a do. There's 3 stages to our enlightenment. 3 stages. There's the unstage, when you're trying to understand yourself, trying to understand your purpose, trying to unravel the reason, the mystery for life. That's the unstage, right? The Tao stage is the stage of self-actualization. And the stage of self-actualization is like, I'm comfortable in my clothes. I understand my purpose. I understand my role, right? And one of the key things that people miss from the Tao stage, the Tao, and you have people in your lives too that are ons and a Tao, and you have those do's. And Rehan is one of those do's to me. And And he was probably one of the first dudes I ever met. It was like Dalai Lama is a dude, right? There's magical individuals, and uh, and and because of the do, people can't help but gravitate to them, just like the Dalai Lama, how it would have been with Buddha or with Jesus. They're all do's. Muhammad, do. Um, Now, I'm not comparing, let's be very clear. I'm not comparing a do's are not the same. They have the same sense of, yes, electricity is a good word, magnetism. That is this quantum, we can define it in a scientific way as this, okay? There is but quantum information. This quantum information, I call distributive unconsciousness. On the quantum scale, and in the laboratory, it can be detected in supersymmetry and even in quantum teleportation. It's being used now to develop quantum computing, this idea of instantaneous making decisions. Well, what it actually is there's an instantaneous communication of information, and they don't know why. We haven't figured out why yet. Well, I'll tell you the why, right? It's distributive unconsciousness. It is information that permeates everything in the universe. It's information that ultimately is what was the spark for religion. It was the spark for spirituality. It was the spark for philosophy. This questioning of why, it's distributive unconsciousness. I called it that. It's the name I gave it. Because with this quantum information, right, that we call religions came about with dogma. But I'm not here to talk about I'm saying Rehan is a do. And where are you, Rehan? I told you I'd be 3 minutes. I had a bio break. I don't see him. Let me get on here and chase him down on here. He's supposed to come on live. So it's raining. We had the hottest day on record, I think on record in Japan yesterday. The hottest day, not only in Japan, where I am in Japan. I told Mike it's because of his brain. He's been working so hard. We have so many cool projects going on with Found Us. It's not even funny. And Rehan, what's going on? Start the live. Okay, he's not here. I go, where are you? I'm live. I'm waiting for you. I'm live. Waiting for you, brother. I think he's busy making another live thing. I missed out. I lost Rehan. That's what it is with a do. A do ultimately is doing, right? It's D-U, not, it's like the long O. And the reason why it's do, obviously, distributive unconsciousness. The purpose of my talk today is about Blockchain Pakistan 2019 Found Up Fest. That's what I'm talking about today. Blockchain Pakistan. And the leader of this whole initiative, and Found Up Fest is going to be an event that happens globally. Anyone will be able to participate and join a Found Up Fest, launch a Found Up Fest. It's open. My book will be out by then. That will give you the structure of a Found Up Fest. It's going to happen June 20th, 2019 for 19 days. All right. The Found Up Fest I'm launching in Hakuba, Japan, is going to have arts and is going to have a big kickoff, have a finale, right? At the beginning, we want to have bands to celebrate the end of centralization, the end of capitalism, the end of, the end of Age of Kings. My friends, my people, this age is over. The age of Trumpism, if you want to call it, is over. He represents the last of the age reaching and clinging on. When you see Trump, it is desperation. He is a manifestation of desperation of the 1% trying to keep power. And he is a circus act, right? That doesn't care about lying, doesn't care about truth, doesn't care about morals, doesn't care about anything, right? Smile at the clown, because that's all he is. I call him #real retard. Start hashtagging him, real retard. That's not a very enlightened thing to do. But in enlightenment, we have to make fun of those around us that are trying to bring us down. We have to send the laughter back at them, right? It's not cruelty, it is honesty. So calling Trump the real retard, there are no retards. He's the only one on the planet. All the rest, or doesn't exist. He is the only one, right? The real retard, what we would call. But my point is this: don't be brought down by what's going on, because it is all changing because of this that I helped usher in, right? I provided, like a dressmaker, I provided the pattern that allowed for this. The pattern, okay? This is the reason why the Mayan calendar ended in 12/21/12, right? It's the reason why. If you look on my back, which I carry Undao Du on my back, right? That's Undao Du. Did you see him, right? Oh no, wrong t-shirt. This is a Theory t-shirt. Hold on. No, that's a sweater. I don't have it. Oh, another sweater. Okay. He's not on my back. I have Ethereum on my front. All right, that's funny. Undao Du on my back, Ethereum on my front. That would be an interesting t-shirt. Okay, I like that idea. The open innovation framework that people use the word blockchain changes everything. Okay, and it ends the age of centralization. It ends the age of kings. And basically over the next 10 years, what we think of centralized capitalism is going to give way to decentralized capitalism, right? Another name for decentralized capitalism is selfless capitalism. It is also, I call social capitalism, right? It is social capitalism, as you've listened to my other talks, has nothing to do with socialism or governments or anything else. I don't know Rehan. He's on, but I don't see where he is. Let me give him a call. I'm calling him. But I don't think my video camera works on this silly. Interesting. Looks like it may be working. Nope. I don't know why on my laptop my video camera does not work. Okay, microphone, relic, Toshiba. All right. Done. Okay. Always allow access Facebook to camera. Okay, done. All right, so let's go back here. All right, I can zoom. Maybe that was it. I just needed, it wasn't in my systems. I'm sorry, this is like the worst live broadcast. I'm live broadcasting on both. I can't get out of this. All right, Facebook. I gotta go back to Facebook. I wish I could show you this. So basically I'm on this page here. Look, I'm on this page here and I've activated my camera, but now what? I can't close the screen or anything. It's like, what the heck? I gotta go up here and hit Facebook. Oh no, it's thinking. It's not even letting me type. Interesting. It's raining. All right. Oh, I just have to close it. Now let's try calling him. See it, Rehan. There you go, I'm calling. So I'm calling Rehan on the computer, saying, where are you? We're supposed to be here. I'm live on YouTube. Sorry, YouTube guys. Land on Facebook. Sorry. I'm missing my guest of honor, Rehan. Allahwala. It is raining. It is raining here. It's been raining here since for about 12 hours now. 8 hours now, nonstop. Drizzle, drizzle. Now it's actually raining. It was drizzling all night, but now it's actually raining. So at least I figured out what's going on with, with it. So, giving you some background before Rehan gets on is in 2010 I set off to disrupt the startup, and the startup is all given. He's not answering. Maybe he's busy now doing something. All right. Well, he knows I called. The startup is what I figured out in 2010 is success equals access to closed capital networks. If you had access to VCs because you lived in Silicon Valley, because of the school you went to Harvard or you went to Stanford or whatever, Columbia, right? Or if you're connected with a large corporation like Apple, like Google, access to closed capital networks. These are all capital networks. If your father worked in a bank, if you, whatever, right? It's the 1%. So the success in startups is the 1%. And not only that, I found proof behind it. I asked a guy called Reese. I can't think of Reese. He's the founder of the Founders Institute. Adele Reese. I said Adele. I interviewed him, and he was like, and all the time I've ever been interviewed, I've never had someone ask me such amazing questions. And I asked him 3 questions really. I can't remember the third, but the first question was like, why? Why did you do the Founders Institute, right? Why? And he basically said, well, because I wanted to help people launch their ideas. Noble. I said, cool, all right. What's your biggest problem? Scaling it. I can't scale it. And I actually said I had the solution to that, right? FoundUps is a solution. I pitched the whole idea of decentralized startups on I didn't call it the blockchain, I call it the Open Innovation Framework, to him back in 2011, I think, 10 or 11, maybe 12, can't remember, right? No, it was before 12 because I went to permaculture. Could have been 12. It could have been 12 because I did do permaculture 2013. Can't remember where exactly. I have to look at my emails. And he wouldn't give me the time of day. And the third question I said, what percentage of business plans get funded? And I used this number he gave me, and he told me something, and this is off the top of my head, so I may have, but he said something like 21 million business plans back in 2010 were submitted each year. 21 million. Of that, only 24,000 get picked up and chosen. 21 million, only 24,000. Of the 24,000, about half are selected, okay? About 12,000 are actually selected, and of those, something like only about 8,000 are actually funded. Ridiculous numbers. Basically, it's 99% of startups with business plans fail. 99%. So I said to myself, if 99% of business plans fail, what percentage of, at least a 0.97% of business, startups don't have business plans. So that's where I came up with the whole idea. And now you hear it, 99% of startups fail. That came from me kind of pushing that idea out there back in 2010. And not only that, what I discovered is that when you do get, let's say, accredited investor funding, when you do get funding, then actually around, 90% fail. So of the 0.25% that actually get picked up, 90% of them fail. And then let's say you do get through there and you go and you get the VC stage, 25% of them fail. They fail to scale or they get bought out or something. So I realized that the startup is completely broken, and we ultimately had to introduce something new. And I looked at the only one startup that I ever launched that was successful, which was a Shakespeare festival that's still going on today. Where's my hat? Do I have my hat around here? The Southern Shakespeare Festival I launched after returning from the Royal National Theatre in London. I only went to the Royal National Theatre Summer Acting Program because I couldn't get into the BFA acting program at Florida State. And I'm like, listen, I'm as good as actors as any of these suckers, the Saxon Palmers, can't think of all my fellow students in there. My apologies. Jennifer Riker, now you're a big star in LA. I'm just as talented as you. Actually, I'm not. Jennifer Riker is super crazy talented. And so is Saxon Ondadu, my friends. I wanted to prove to my acting teachers, Gene Lixon, Michael Ritchie, and most importantly, George Judy, that I was good enough. They were the undows and the do's. Right? I bet they were an undow team, right, about me. So I wanted to prove to them. So I went and auditioned to this master level class. I was one of 2 undergraduates to go to London. It was chaired by Sir Anthony Hopkins. And back then, Alan Rickman, Ian McKellen, and a host of others, Michael Joyce, who you won't know of, but he's with me right now, always. Say the word is to invoke that thing into being. Why do I make so many videos? Why do I keep talking about founders? Why? Well, it's because of Michael Joyce's spirit infected me, right? Back from that 1994. And he said, to say it is to usher it in. To say it is to usher it in. To say it is to usher it in. And sure enough, Trump has been saying it long enough, and he's a proof to the pudding, isn't he? Right? Trump, he's been saying, I'm going to be president, really, way back until he was in his 30s, and he became president. You cannot stop found ups. You cannot stop social capitalism. You cannot stop the age of decentralization. The age of centralization is gone. It's done, people. Celebrate. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch being, capitalism. They just doesn't know it, right? The Burning Woman event symbolizes the burning of the centralized governments. Nothing to do with women, okay? Justice is blind, the woman, right? Justice is not blind. Justice is like this. If you got money, OJ, if you got money, you can murder, right? We all know justice isn't blind. That's a bunch of crap, but it will be, right, in our age. So, I'm still waiting for Rehan. I'm stalling here. I'm giving you my story here. Rehan, where are you? 20 minutes. I might as well restart at 30 minutes if he's not here, then you'll just hear. So on my return from studying at the National Theater, I got accepted into the BFA acting program. Right? So obviously, I started the Southern Shakespeare Festival only because some guy said, why don't you do a Shakespeare Festival? And understand, as a startup person, it's like me living in Pakistan launching an event on the Mars or whatever. It's just insane that this happened. I had 0 producing experience. I had 0 experience raising money. I'd never written a business. I'd never produced. I'd never done anything, right? I was a tabula rasa. And yet I was able to launch this event that's going on today. You can read about it in Wikipedia, the Southern Shakespeare Festival. With 0 experience. And I spent decades, especially when I started thinking about the startup, I said, how was I able to launch this, and this is still going on today, and how can I apply that to the startup so anyone can launch their ideas? How can I turn it from a 99.97% failure rate to a 70% failure rate, or 50 or 60% failure rate? How can I bring that failure rate down? It can't be that hard. So the open innovation framework built on the blockchain, I came up with in 2012, okay? I didn't come up with the blockchain, that was already there, right? I didn't come up with the idea of smart contracts, that was already there, right? What I came up with was just a pattern like a dressmaker. I said, you could take this material called the blockchain and you can stitch it together, but I don't know the stitch. And I went to Silicon Valley, I went to Dave McClure, I went to Adele Reese, I went to Hittam, I went to Eric Ries, I even, after none of the Silicon Valley guys would give me any time, I went to Norm Chomsky. I said, Norm, I wrote him a letter, I said, Norm, introduce me to money. I have the solution to your problem. You're talking about, I understand why we have a problem with capitalism. I understand the underlying thing that no one's ever basically, because I started at the startup, I started at the idea stage of capitalism, right? Everyone is looking at capitalism from the top down, and they always stop at the corporation. corporation, banking. They never start. Because I started right here at the seed that becomes all these things, right? It's the idea, it's the seed that became all of this stuff, right? That I realized and asked the question, what is the thing in this seed? What is the DNA in the seed that's causing all these problems? These are not endemic problems. These are systemic outcomes of an endemic problem. That was the discovery, right? That I discovered in 2011. That was it. I was like, I get it. It's CAGR. It's this compounded annual growth rate. It's this equation, right? On the blockchain, we call it proof of ROI, proof of return. We also have renamed it. We call it proof of work, proof of stake. Both of those things are all hypergraph, Ethereum, EOS, Ripple. All of these things are built on CAGR. They're all doomed to fail, right? They're all doomed because you cannot have infinite growth on a finite resource planet. Now, the beautiful thing, what we're doing with FoundUps, and because I understand and I have the actualization of this problem, and actually Saratio 2, right? Alinga Tahid, my brother, call out to you. Your work is very important. Alinga Tahid, Blockchain for Good, Saratio, has developed the underlying metrics to measure intangibles. He came up with the equation in 2012, back when I was working, right? Holacracy came up with a decentralized management system in around 2010, 2012, same time I was working. So there was this force of Undao-Do, all right? This force of Undao-Do, basically merging everything together, all right, around 2010. After the crash of 2008, in times of great strife, there's radical transformative innovation. Radical transformative innovation. I have a talk on it back in 2012, right? The Mayan calendar ending in 2012 is the realization back then, 6,000 years ago, in Undao-Do, right? On the guy sitting on our logo. That is, you can think of that as me. You can think of that as you. You can think of it as the blockchain, right? I like the metaphor that, hey, there's my ego, right? I'm a person. They're talking about me. Here I am sitting on the blockchain. I've been struggling. I heard recently the term roach entrepreneur, cockroach entrepreneur. I've been telling people for years, I'm always going to do FoundUps. I will walk away from all the money in the world if it means I lose control. Why? Why? Because I lost control of the Shakespeare Festival in 2007. I lost control. I had a Steve Jobs experience of losing control of his baby. And I said to myself, there's no money in the world that's ever going to take my child away. You see, when you're passionate about your idea, that idea is not a checkbook. That idea is just not something you're doing to get yourself a Lambo. It's not something you're doing because you want a better life. It may have a substance to it, but when you are truly passionate, for example, what Rehan is and what he is doing, doesn't care about money. I don't care about money. What I care about is you, the world, the planet, its living species, and everything else around it. And there is no amount of money in the world that can steal and take and own my child, because an idea found up to me is no different than my children. It birthed out of me, and that's why I have the logo of the squatting dog, right? Because it's not a cerebral thing. The idea may start here, but it's a full body experience, and it comes out there. And it's that hard. It's like having constipation sometimes. Believe me, I can tell you because I've found us. So ultimately, is he's still not there? All right. So ultimately, I'm going to restart this video when Rehan gets here. So I'm just using this as just talking about how the idea of the blockchain, how the idea of the open innovation came about. So when I realized that we needed to change this underlying equation, I said, well, how do we change the underlying equation? We can't. If we rip out CAGR from our current economic system, We collapse our markets, we collapse our banking, we collapse everything. Everything collapses out of Kaggle because our entire system is like a game of Jenga. And guess what? I've got some Jenga here. So we're actually going to, so imagine here, I'm going to actually flip it around here, right? Flip around. So I'm going to explain to you what I'm talking about, right? So here's a table right here, right? Sorry on YouTube. Well, I guess I can flip you around too. Can I flip you around? Yeah. Right, so we're here. So here is, look at that, I'm on both, I'm on YouTube, right? So this is Kaggle, right? Only thing of this is Kaggle. This is the startup. All right, let me flip this around here, right? Right? So there are two blocks that are propping up capitalism. There's two blocks. There is the equation that generates income, and there is the idea for that equation to generate income for, right? So this is the startup, right? This is Kaggle, right? So we'll do it this way. Well, I don't know, I can't do that. We're gonna be coloring these. And then because of this, all of a sudden the economic markets, here is, here is the NASDAQ, here is the NASDAQ, right? Here's the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, all the markets, right? And then on top of this is all the big corporations, right? So the reality is this, is that what I realized is really simple. It's really simple. I said, if I pull this block out here, here's Kaggle, or this actually is the startup, here's what we're switching, here's Kaggle. If I pull this block up here, it all collapses, right? It all collapses. That's it. That's it. That's how I came up with the idea of the blockchain. I was like, we need to have a new model where we can add new equations to, right? And the new equation I called compounded annual benefit rate, CABR. Instead of CABR that measures ROI, CABR measures benefit that the object or the startup or the product or whatever has on the planet, its living systems, and in increasing people's knowledge, awareness. Three things. So CABR is built on three things. How is it affecting the planet? Are you digging up, trees? Are you cutting down? Are you creating? Is your product basically creating dead zones in the ocean? Is your product tied to climate change? Is your product, tied to deforestation? Is your product tied to child labor? We can answer these questions, right? That's the planet, right? It's living systems. How is your planet affecting life? Is your planet somehow attached to the sixth great extinction? Is your planet, affecting biodiversity and other things, right? Or is it helping? Because ultimately, as I'll talk about, DANOs, distributive autonomous nonprofit organizations, or decentralized autonomous nonprofit organizations, they're actually both, are built on CABR, not CAGR. They're built on proof of benefit, not proof of work, proof not, and finally, how is your product impacting us? That's knowledge, right? Is it funding schools, right? Is it benefiting individuals? Is it feeding the hungry? Is it creating ecosystems? Yada 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 yada, right? So three things, the undao do. Funny how everything is three, right? Undao do, planet, living systems, share, knowledge, right? Share represents knowledge. And ultimately, this is the future, and FoundUp ushers that in. All right, it's 30 minutes. I'm done talking here. 30 minutes is more than enough for anyone to listen to. I'm sure you're all bored of this. You're like, what the heck? No one's putting any love. No one's liking my videos. No one's doing anything. So I guess you don't want to hear me talk anymore. So I'm going to get off here. I got work to do. I don't know what happened to Rehan. He's off. I apologize. We'll try again.